to Ask a Puppy Trainer Show. This is where we answer all of your questions about puppyhood. I'm Bethany.
And I'm Sparky from the Puppy Academy. We're excited you're here. And now, let's get to the show.
Welcome to Ask a Puppy Trainer Show. I'm Bethany. I'm all you get today. I'm sorry. I don't even have a puppy. I just realized I don't even have a puppy. Okay, this is episode number 180? 190. Oh, we got to do something for the 200th. We're so close to the 200th. Okay, this is how it works, everyone. You can put your question down below. We do only talk about puppies on this show, but it can be about anything. Just put the age and breed or breed mix or size, something to just give me an idea of your puppy in the comments when you ask, your question. Okay. Let me join. It's still not saying Puppy Academy is live. Here we go. All right. Okay, so I'm going to keep track of your questions, or at least I'm going to try. I'm actually on TikTok and Instagram because I'm alone today because Sparky is not here. All right, here we go. Okay, I'm going to start with it's kind of a PSA announcement. I want to give everybody a little bit of a heads up. Now, I know some of you guys, might think that you would do this, but it's really common. It's really common not to. When your puppy gets to be an adolescent, like around that 8 to 10 week mark, it's super common for us to kind of forget about some of the issues that they've had. I mean, they start to get pushier, which is really natural, and we kind of just forget about some of the issues that we had. So we had a dog that was an underwear eater, and I think you can just scroll up and it'll show that it was working. Like it's just a different. Yeah, there you go. Okay. Had an underwear eater, and then they happened to have a few people over at the house, like for the kids. And usually, they're watching the dog, they're working on this kind of stuff, but they're distracted. So what do you think the adolescent dog did? So it's a perfect example of when you have something new happen in your home, something out of the ordinary. It's usually like the holidays or a barbecue. We got the 4th of July coming up, something like that. You've got to kind of have a plan with your dog. It's a great opportunity to train, of course, but not everybody can do that. You might not have time to do that, and that's okay. Like, especially if you're the one hosting and you're in charge of all the kids or all the people coming in. And so that's where crating can be really valuable. You can crate the dog, get everybody settled, take them out for a potty, give them more exercise earlier in the day. When they're adolescent dogs, they can be crated for longer periods of time, and just really kind of have a plan when it comes to those types of situations. And if you want to have your adolescent dog out, wait till everybody's settled and then just have them on leash next to you so you can really teach them how you want them to behave in those situations. That way they don't get into dangerous situations. Okay, so hopefully a little PSA announcement. Okay, let's see. I'm going to hop to the gram.
I think we also have her submit a question to Olivia.
Well, that's good because for some reason, Olivia, your question didn't pop up on my feed. I can't see you. Maybe you're private or something. I don't know. Sometimes I feel like I'm a business and I join. It doesn't show me everybody. I don't know. All right.
The 5-month-old Cavalier.
5-month-old Cavalier. Olivia, I think she gave me more information on there, though. Can you mind reading it?
How to transition potty location. She's been going on wooden patio, but now wants to transition to grass patch, and she thinks it's a bed/chew toy.
Grassy patch. Well, usually that's not too bad of a transition, but it's a wood patio, and you want to transition a 5-month-old to a grassy patch. Transitioning at that age can be pretty tough. I'll just be honest. And you cannot get around the fact that you need the dog to be on leash. There's no getting around it. And so every time you are going to take that puppy out to potty, that puppy's going to be on leash. I would also encourage you, because it's grass, I would also encourage you to really use the front yard to utilize just a different space with grass. Because I'm guessing if that grass is like on top of the wood patio, there's a real possibility your dog is going to potty on the way to the grass. So first thing in the morning, if it's a small enough dog, I might pick the dog up. This is the only time I would do this, and put them in the grassy patch on leash. Might even put a fence around it so the puppy can't step off onto the wooden patio to potty. And then the rest of the day, I might try to use the front yard grass to just mix things up and really get the dog used to grass. You have to completely eliminate the possibility of the wooden patio, which means you can't even hang out on the wood patio anymore unless completely emptied their bladder and maybe you're just doing some place duration work, nothing really running around. It's going to take some time. So hopefully that gives you some tips. Okay. I'm going to hop back over to the tickety talk. Let's see. Britt says, hang on. It's just me, so I have to read in silence. I let my dog cry it out, but it doesn't stop. He throws up, shows signs of distress, almost 3 months old. I do feed him in crate. It's just not working. Oh, I'm so sorry about that, Britt. I promise I'm not like just pushing your question off. I am going to give you some tips, but I really do think you're going to have to get some one-on-one help in there. It sounds like you don't just have a puppy that's having some separation anxiety, like normal minor isolation distress, pulled from the litter and getting used to things. If you have a puppy that's literally making themselves sick, there's some deep-rooted anxiety here, and it's going to take a little bit more than just some basic training to get your dog over the hump. You're right. Cry it out is not going to work. Now, I understand you might have to go to work and you don't have a choice. That is what it is. But let's try to make sure we're setting your puppy up to succeed as much as possible. We do have more thorough details on this in our online school, but I'm just going to give you some highlights. Dark room, white noise machine, and a radio playing or something that plays like a sitcom over and over again. All of those are important. I would even cover the crate as well if your dog doesn't pull things in and chew on them. I would do some calm obedience work before I put my dog away. I would actually do stacking because it seems like you're dealing with real distress. I want my puppy legitimately tired. And so what I would do is I would try to get like a 3-day weekend, or you could try it for 2 days, but it tends to need to be 72 hours because dogs cannot not sleep for 3 days. And so what I would do is some stacking, have 3 days off of work, and I would do a walk, play, training. My puppy is pooped and just wants to go to sleep out with me. I'm going to transfer to crate. The dog's not going to be able to sleep in crate as long as it's not hurting. He's not hurting himself. I'm going to leave him be. I'm going to do some slow patterning, but I'm going to leave him be. I might try like a tap on top of the crate. Hey, settle down. No, but I'm going to do all the other things I said, dark room and all that. And, I'm 3 months old. I don't know the breed, but maybe, an hour or two out, do that cycle again, really exhaust the puppy. And, probably at night, the puppy might sleep. But even if they really push it, they cannot go 3 days without sleeping. And then they learn, it feels really good, to sleep in crate. Like that feels good. I can do that. And it can kind of really get you over the hump. If that doesn't cut it, you definitely need that one-on-one help. But a lot of it is it's really, if you get one-on-one help, because I think I have another crate question on here. Yeah, from Sarah. A lot of times a 1-year-old, that's not uncommon. A lot of times there's an energy spike. A lot of times the crate issues are not the crate. I think it's different for you, Britt. I think you've got some legitimate, genetic anxiety happening. That's why I keep saying, some one-on-one help. But like, especially for you, Sarah, a lot of the crate stuff isn't what's happening in the crate, guys. It's what's happening when they're outside of the crate. Are you like, yeah, maybe you're having them wait for permission, but then you're, even with a young puppy, you're like, okay, let's go. And then they fly out of crate to the back door, and then they get to go for a potty, and then it's fun and engagement. And then they do the play, or maybe they run around the yard and then they play with you, and then they get fun treat work, and then they get snuggles, and then it's back in crate. Like, what? No way. There are so many dogs throughout maybe different phases of their life, like your 1-year-old, they're not having that anymore. Like, no, absolutely not. So when you start to see that, it's like, how are your thresholds doing? Sarah, like, can you open your front door and your dog just look at you? Like, when a door opens, is their mental response, their psychological response to back off rather than move forward? Because if not, you need brain work. You need dog psychology, brain work. Sorry, I'm just like 20 things in my head that I could give you, but I'm trying to not overwhelm, but also give you something real specific. So it's like, put your dog on a lead, go to the park on a long lead. Just do some let's go work. It's not come. It's not facing your dog. Come, super excited, sit, food. That's basic obedience. That has its place. We do that, of course. And I'm speaking, very much to the 1-year-old right now. But you also need to just practice walking through the park calmly. So if your dog is disconnected from you, you need to practice turning. And then when your dog's a little more connected, slowing it down, letting them sniff, hanging out, then just pausing. Doing nothing, and your dog should pause with you. If they're a little ahead of you, it's fine, but they need to pause with you. A little behind you, fine. You don't engage with them and they don't engage with you. Like, they need to practice also just hanging out, not always so much engagement, whether it's food, excitement, snuggles, even place work, that we teach puppies. We do transition them to when they're ready, when they're mentally mature enough, which could be as young as 14 to 16 weeks. We want to, channel them to just a calmer body blocking. You need to stay there, calm down, And I just want you to keep that in mind. How much affection are you giving when your puppy comes out of crate? Are you giving affection within a 15-minute window before your puppy goes in crate, Sarah? So that's not fair. Because even if you pet calmly, even if you're doing the slow massage that we talk about, petting still causes stimulation. And so are you stimulating your dog within 15 minutes and then putting them in crate? It's like people who say bye to their dogs. Now, don't get me wrong. I do know some dogs that are really solid, really confident, and they kind of figure it out over the course of years that you're coming back. But it is not nice to be like, okay, see you later. And the dog's like, what? And then a door shuts in their face and you go to work and come back. A young dog is going to go, spin around, go eat the blinds. Right? And so, if they're in crate, they're going to be like, get me out of crate. And so anyway, I've given you a lot to think about. That's enough. Okay. I could talk about it all day. All right. Yes. Britt says, yeah, you're right. Planning on getting some help with him. Woohoo. Let's see. Lex says, I'll check with Instagram in a minute, but I don't think I had any new questions. Lex says, I got my puppy last week. I work a 12-hour shift, 4 days a week. Would you rehome him or should I keep trying? Well, Lex, I don't have enough information. What's the age and breed? If you got a Malinois, you need to rehome him. But if you got a different type of breed and you have someone coming once or twice a day to check in on him, let him out to potty, then, you're fine. If you got an outdoor dog, if you got a Great Pyrenees and, he's safe in an outdoor, kennel environment. I grew up with outdoor dogs. I got nothing against it as long as they get what they need when you're home and you're doing the work when you're home. It's fine. But yeah, a dog, like a Labrador, 12 hours pent up inside all day long for 12 hours. That's not going to work, but you don't need to rehome him. Just get someone to come, let him out a couple times a day and then really do the work on the 3 days that you are home. Now, if you're exhausted on the 3 days that you are home with your job, yeah, you're going to need to rehome him. So there's a lot of things to consider. I just threw like 10 things at you to consider. It's never that simple. It's never black and white. So you have to consider all of those things. All right.
Has you from Instagram?
No, I didn't. Let me check. Let me see if Instagram is working for me. Yeah, it's not showing any of the things. Maybe it's because I was on TikTok. Can you read it for me?
It says 7-month-old male Australian Labradoodle getting mouthy with my hand and brush when grooming. Is it a red flag? Didn't do this when he was younger.
No. So 7-month-old Labradoodle is getting really mouthy when she's starting to groom him, and probably in other times too, I'm guessing, I think is what it said. Is this a red flag? I mean, it could lead to some gnarly things, but no, dogs are so mouthy by nature, you know, it's like my little girl putting everything, you know, in her mouth. Like they use their mouths to explore. It's just the difference is between them and us. They have very sharp teeth and they bite. But that doesn't mean that it's okay. That doesn't mean that you let it go. It is very important to work on this. I'm just going to focus on the grooming for a second. I'm going to give you a tip. So let's say I'm grooming. You can kind of see that, right? So let's say I'm everything around here I have is black. I'm grooming my dog. It is really common, especially when trainers give advice, myself included, that we're like, okay, so when your dog goes to bite you, you know, pause, say no, have the leash with your other hand, maybe give it a tug or do some leash pressure up in the air. And then, you know, keep going, of course, and don't let the dog get away with it. Don't move your hand away because then they win. That's the general advice. It's not wrong. It's good advice, but it's missing some key points. So I'm going to unpack some key points for grooming for you all, especially with Labradoodles. A lot of times we use slicker brushes on those dogs. Have you ever brushed yourself with a slicker brush? It is not comfortable. So let's make sure we're not going all the way down to the skin, first of all, because that is a mistake I have made plenty of times early in my career before I actually worked with groomers. I'm like, what is your problem? You need to be able to deal with this. And then I was like, ow. Okay. So anyway, please. And same with the furminators. They rip fur out of dogs. I didn't know that either. And so, you know, we've got to keep this in mind about, you know, the grooming things that groomers use more appropriately than we do. And then things we buy online. So keep that in mind. But anyway, it's the same if you're wiping a dog's eyes and they're, all right, hang with me here. You go to brush a dog, right? They immediately turn to mouth you. You can say no if you want. I say it once or twice, but don't get all crazy. Otherwise, you're going to be saying it like crazy. So you grab the leash. I like to do slip leash, and I also like to back tie dogs on flat collar and then have a slip leash on them. I might pause, say no, do a little slip leash pressure, or give them a tug and be like, hey, knock it off. But I really pause and I wait. So pretend I'm the dog. So I want you guys to watch my face. I'm the dog. And this is the brush. I'm going to wait till the dog looks away from the brush before I keep going. Oh, it will make such a huge difference. And then I'm going to go one step further if you're really struggling. And when I'm brushing and the dog looks at the brush again, I'm going to pause. I don't mind correcting dogs, guys, but that does not mean we are mean and we don't listen to them. We don't take their feelings into consideration. We're disrespectful. No, we listen to them. We read their body language. We take our time. Okay. And so even when you're brushing and they look at the brush, pause, wait till they look away, keep brushing. They wouldn't be mouthing you if it wasn't causing some sort of discomfort. It's called desensitizing, which means you need to work under threshold and take your time. Now, that's what I would do first. Believe it or not, especially with the age your dog is, 7 months old, I wouldn't start with food. Under 16 weeks, I would start with food, just to be clear. But I have this thing about adolescent dogs. I don't start with food. I do everything I said. I get to know them. I get to know their energy and stuff with everything I just said, like really reading their energy. I like to do that. If you want to start with food with your adolescent dog to make it easier, perfectly understandable. It's just, it's just not my jam, but lots of people are successful doing that. I like to get to know their energy and like how intense they are and how I can be successful just reading their temperament, And then once I get into a good place with that, could be 5 minutes, could be 10, could be 2 minutes, then I'll be like, good. And see if and then give them a piece of food. And then when I do the pause with my brush and they look at me, and then I might just do a little brush while they're looking, because I've already built up like a good rapport with them being so calm and slow. I'll just do a little brush. Good. Food. Then I'm really starting to work on the food stuff. Okay. All right. One more thing, because she wasn't just talking about brushing. If your dog is mouthing you for any reason, freeze, stop moving, stop petting, stop talking, grab a hold of the leash and do pressure straight up in the air. Tell them to knock it off and start practicing place and teach them how to stay in place by doing body language. If you can't block your dog, get out of my way, don't go out the door, get back on place. If you can't move your dog out of your way using spatial pressure, using your body, you're going to have a lot more issues than just a little bit of mouthing, in my opinion. And I know that doesn't go for every dog. I'm well aware of that. But I just think for a lot of dogs, it could prevent a lot of issues if you're able to do that. Okay, I'm going to go for another one. I'm going to check. I think I've had a few on TikTok.
I've had good ones on TikTok.
Let's see.
What's your opinion on a King Charles Cavalier Spaniel breed?
Wildly happy, crazy that chases birds. Okay, so there is a misconception like about the training level. Honestly, every King Charles I come across, a lot of times if I'm walking the dog, they are chasing birds on the beach and have no recall if they haven't really been worked with. And they're barking their heads off at me and my dog if there's multiple. I have 2 people in mind that I know in the area. They're barking their heads off at my dog, like all excited and trying to get to us. But if they got to us, they would just sniff us and my dogs and be excited. My point is they're a great fun breed, but they can be wild and pull on the leash like the Dickens because people don't give them enough credit. And they're like, oh, it'll be easy to train. Crazy excitement is hard to train. Like it can be really hard to manage. You have to manage your own emotion. You can't be super excited all the time because they're so excited. You got to stay calm and chill to balance them out. But they're great dogs. They're great family dogs. They're super fun, super playful, and they chase birds. Don't forget, they are bird dogs. All right. So that was a pretty quick one. So I'm just seeing if I can find another one on here, because I know I saw one. 14-week-old. Real quick, the 9-week-old Goldendoodle looking to house train. Girl, you got to get on a schedule. We're all about the schedule. Isn't there somewhere they can go to get a schedule?
Link in bio, click on the free masterclass.
Go to our link in our bio, click on the free masterclass. Pachow! Okay. I don't know what that was. I've been watching like kids stuff because of my kid. 14-week-old Maltese, nips and play biting, how to stop. Malteses, man, they're another one that does not get enough credit for being wild little, they kind of be little monsters to be honest. So they can be very mouthy and feisty as all get out. You got to get a leash on that dog, and you need to make your hands represent more food than petting. Because I bet that Maltese is carried a lot and held and like, oh, you're so pretty, and lots of photos taken. So that has got to be cut in half at least. And you need to start hand feeding your meals, when you're home. If you're home, if you work from home, that's a little different. But if you're home and you're able, if you're putting the food in a bowl, no. You need to be hand feeding meals. Even if it's quick, even if it's just 5-10 minutes of recall work and it's just a handful of their food. At 14 weeks old, you might need to put a little water if you're doing hard kibble. hard food, just so it gets a little spongy. You can wear a glove if you want to, like a plastic glove. Come, handful of food. Come, handful of food. Your dog needs to see your hands as something more than excitement, or it's never going to stop. There's no correction. There's no nothing. Because what you're dealing with is a relationship issue with your hands and emotion. Like what emotion the dog is already attached to you. Excitement, softness, love. I'm just generalizing. I could be totally wrong, but I'm just generalizing on a lot of people that get small dogs. But anyway, that's the first thing I would do. And then make sure there's a leash on the dog when the dog has free time. So that way, if they get really crazy, the bewitching hour happens, zoomies, and you try to stop zoomies and they're going after your ankles and your fingers and toes, you can just pick up the leash, pressure out, your arm is out and away from you. Hey, calm down. Just a little bit of pressure up in the air. Don't lift them up off the ground. Don't like Maltese go flying. So just a little bit of pressure. Calm them down. Everybody take a breath. When you relax the leash and they go for you again, pressure, calm down, take a breath. Maybe have a food pouch on you when your dog is having free time. So then when they do calm down a little bit, come, sit, food, and you know, start adding in more impulse control training. 14 weeks old, they should be able to do come, place, let's go routine, waiting at thresholds, doing house, waiting at house for permission to come out. They can do all that stuff. At this age, they're sponges. They can't do long stays, but they learn all of their obedience in a matter of a month. So get on it. All right, guys. Thank you so much, and I will see you next week.
Thanks for tuning into Ask a Puppy Trainer Show.
We hope you found some advice that you can use to help make puppyhood a little easier.
Don't forget to join us live every Wednesday at 1 p.m. Pacific Time on Instagram or TikTok at The Puppy Academy.
This is where you can get a chance to ask your burning questions in real time. And if you want even more puppy guidance, visit our website at thepuppyacademy.com for info on joining our online puppy school.
If you enjoyed today's episode, please consider subscribing to our podcast and leaving us a review.
These reviews let more people find us and supports us on our mission to help as many puppy parents as possible around the globe.
Thanks for listening, and we'll see you in the next episode.